Hello and welcome to another gameplay review on the Virkayu gameplay channel, and in this one I have the abomination known as Talon jungle. It's also not okay. It's not alright. It needs to go. Riot, please fix this. I don't want to see it anymore. I don't think anyone else does either. The thing is though, if you are an enjoyer of LP and winning, and you like assassins, Talon jungle's still the way to go. He has survived multiple iterations at this point. Conqueror nerfs, Gore Drinker nerfs. He's always had good itemization flexibility. Now with this sort of Ghostblade Eclipse existence, we can see a new phase, I suppose. And obviously with the nerf to lethal tempo and the nerf to Frostfire, certain champions that might be, you know, pretty good against him now have a bit less of a power curve, shall we say. However, most assassin players that you might be have a rough time in the older game. Sometimes you want to play an assassin low elo, sometimes you want to play an assassin to climb through a diamond, and laners end up 0-8 before you can do anything. First strike runes on your screen now, and so in this game, well, they were on your screen, maybe they're on your screen, who knows. And in this game, I want to focus on what happens if you can't get going, but how do you actually still end up winning as a byproduct of, yo, good design, and obviously good rune design, because the riches you get from first strike definitely help in this regard. So, I just released a video on the main channel talking about why you can't close games. It's not objective bounties, but at the same time, we'll see how you can actually actively come back in games when you're not really that far behind, but maybe you've struggled to really get going. And that's quite something important, I think, because a lot of times junglers will snowball and win, or they just have a horrible time and end up making the right plays later on. But sometimes it's just a case of always being within touching distance, and as Talon, that's pretty damn easy. Well, you're top lane and you need to be bottom lane. Just like that. TP nerfs coming through soon, maybe. Keep an eye on that. I'll talk about it if I need to on the main channel. In the meantime, obviously, he's 4 clerics, so what else are we going to talk about? The Qiyana on the other side is starting in the blue. Most likely will look to do a full clear, although if she doesn't pop up here, that's the case. If she does a blue side into a mid lane gank, as might happen here from the pings, there we go, except from the bottom side. Beautiful. Chains hit the minion, doesn't matter. Qiyana does the job. So this is huge. This is what I love. At the moment, if you are doing a full clear and you do blue side first, you can still gank either through top or through underneath, right? And you can do the same thing if you do a red side clear, and it's really useful. Because now what Qiyana's done is started top side, cut through underneath and gone down, and now bottom lane, what's going on here? We have a dive. Obviously this is now a Korean video. If you didn't know, now you do. Qiyana has moved on down and actually tried to get that dive going. Talon shows up, and this is what Qiyana's doing. This is Talon. This is Talon. This is why it's so irritating, because any other jungler caught in this situation is kind of screwed. You know, but he has flash. Obviously, you can run flash, you can run ignite, you can run exhaust. It's as you wish. It's Yasuo blitzcrank bottom lane. But, you know, it's pretty easy to get on out of these situations. That was significantly more timid than I expected, to be honest with you. I was expecting explosions and fiestas, but everyone was kind of, no, we want to relax. Piss chilling. Anyway. So, I like the kind of move here, but at this point now, yes, bottom lane needs to reset, but the lane is going to lose too much if he forces invade, so don't really force the invade in this situation, but the counter, I love it. 3 camp into a gank, back to the bottom side. If bot has prio, you can dive it. If bot doesn't have prio, you can gank it. You basically have control. Another Talon who's done a 5 camp up, excuse me, speaking too fast for my brain, now is kind of stuck in this, yeah, what do I do now? That's what happens. He does get a decent minion soak, and he will get both crabs, so that kind of offsets that issue. That means he is level 4, obviously. Qiyana, because that didn't be the case, because that isn't the case, she will still be level 3 until she takes her rep camp, which just happened. This is very important. Let's just slow down a bit, because I'm like this. I haven't seen the game, so I'm sort of processing all the information that's just flying at me and hopefully flying at you. I won't pause for too long. Just note that if a jungler does this and ganks and then disappears and, you know, dies, yes, you can take this because you track 12 CS blue side, you know what's going on. However, if she's alive and the game is volatile, don't force this invade and die. At the same time, you know the Qiyana now. This ward is great, obviously. This should have been the Twisted Fate there, just confirming. We see her here. And now because you know she started blue side and went to this bottom lane mid lane gank from the bottom side, her second Grump is spawned. So if this isn't feasible for whatever reason, you at the very least can look to potentially counter jungle this, knowing that we just saw the Qiyana there. However, because we are Talon, because we are broken, because we are disgusting, we can just do this. Yeah, free flash. That's nice. You know, you're farming, you're thinking you're in a good position in the lane state, and Talon says, no. And now you see the Kiana most likely this stage is done already. So we're looking at the bottom side. We're staring at the minions. We're staring at the wards, I wanted to say, but minions are basically walking wards. And now you know that Kiana most likely has reset and will be heading to the top side. So we're at this point where should we invest a bit more time here and potentially counter gank her? Now I think if this was your logic, it was better to fall back to your Krugs and then maybe set this up. But the Yone should reset here. He should be very cautious. Well, not necessarily reset, but he needs to be fully aware that the Kiana is going to be here and the Talon is going back himself. Now the Talon, because he did a 5 camp, has 3 camps at tier 2. Raptors, Wolves, and Grump. And now Kiana hasn't shown yet, but we fully anticipate this to be the case. Good warding. Look at this. There you go. See, this is it. He knows. He knows ward plant gets hit over here. Scry's Bloom gets hit, so we see it. She eats, she flashes, and he dies anyway. Kiana's another great design. But, I mean, this is... The Talon's got to help him fully decompress his wave, fully commit to this reset, or just disappear, do his red side, and potentially counter gank. But then he hasn't spent his gold, so... obviously, I understand in your games, top laners, if you try to do any of these things, will rage and flame you. So, they're gonna die, There's nothing much we can do about that. We went to the bottom side, we take our second Grump, we take our second Wolves, we sequence to the second Raptors. Kiana at this stage, if you're tracking her CS, you know, you'll know if she did Grump or not. And if she falls back to it, now she goes mid lane. We'll see 33, very good, pretty obvious. Here, I would love for everyone just to rotate in your games, right? In your games, you're not gonna have that sort of snappy decision making that a high elo jungle mid synergy duo is gonna have, or whatever that sentence means. So you can very easily hop this wall and try and get involved. I think more often than not in those situations, you will actually get some kills, but obviously in high elo, guy's dead. The guy is absolutely dead. There's really nothing you can do. Hold the wave, comedy, and sometimes it just be this way. And sometimes you just have to shadow and make sure you're controlling your whole jungle. And as an assassin with first strike, yeah, we kind of want to use it. Let's see where we're at now. Damage dealt 21, gold gain 31. We want to use it to actually get that gold. But at the same time, you just mustn't force things. You mustn't force things. When you get a few fights, you'll just get a nice infusion that kind of brings you back into the game a bit more. Think about it that way. And if you really don't have a rune that scales, like a Dark Harvest, you know, or an Electrocute, which just guarantees you kill someone, that kind of does suck, but at the same time, I can sort of see even in the most dire of situations, first strike just giving you a little bit of gold for a certain spike at a certain moment, even in a losing game, and with objective bounties, it can help a lot. It's a game of inches, or Teemo units, whatever it might be. So out of base here, now that we have the serrated Durk, and we have a roaming Blitzcrank level 4, you can see he's kind of looking like, I need to get on the page, I need to do something. He was thinking, let me invade the blue. Kiana shows in the mid lane here, now coming to the top side. This is important to secure if you're behind. If the jungler's being active and trying to use their lead, and there's a first RNG crab for you to take away, do so. And as we saw, this is important, right? The presence top lane really sets up the ability for you to get something back. If you're in a game like this where it's just hard, like you're not seeing the windows and you're struggling a little bit to understand what you can fully do, find a lane where it's peaceful and quiet, burn the flash of the Victor, go back to base, resequence, and then just abuse the fact that that flash is down. Make sure you do that though. You see the Victor's flash is about to come up. He was timing this, noticed it, and said, let me do that. He didn't full sequence and then miss the timer. You know, you don't want to miss the timer. So that's good. Fall back to base. You know the Kiana's in the area, so no point trying to coin flip the Herald. Mid lane's pushed in. Twisted Fate does have ultimate now, but in the meantime, we can just do this. And the thing is, and this is why Talon is so disgusting, an assassin like this champion who doesn't get going, who makes, you know, he's not really making mistakes per se, but you know, you would expect to be able to, you need to play like the Kiana almost in order to get fed. You should have to. Twisted Fate's ulting as well, the flash is up. He will use it. Are we going to fully commit to this? No. I don't like that. I don't like it. The Twisted Fate kind of forces the hand a little bit. I mean, we get the flash for an ult, that's always good, but I don't think there was ever a question of us being able to kill it. Now, you can see here, LeBlanc pushes the wave and disappears. Kiana MIA. Are they collapsing on the Herald, anticipating that we're going to do it, or are they going down to the Dragon? And this is where bot lane has to be very cautious, because you don't really know. You see the pings? You see the pings? Both teams kind of like, where are people going? Now, LeBlanc shows bottom lane. Shows bottom lane. And Talon out of base, straight direction to this situation. Don't hesitate. We're going to use our ult. We're going to red smite it. It's not going to make much of a difference, because LeBlanc is also a good champion that does these things. And the Cloud Drake gives him a bit of a slow, and now it's doomed. So, it's not the best combo, not the most fluid scenario whatsoever. That's where the Ignite is really good, as well as the Exhaust, because if they get super low, you can burn them. One more auto, she probably dies. Tick buff, red buff tick, Night tick. If you have Exhausted slows, TP coming through from the top side of mid lane while Kiana was holding. So watch this. Now, he's using this moment to counter jungle while she's holding mid lane, which is a good decision. LeBlanc shows very briefly top lane. What can we do from that as a jungler? Eat the objective, because we know that with Victor being dead, with LeBlanc being top lane, and with our Rakan being mid lane, we can take that objective. Huge. Especially in these losing game states, right? Not a big losing game state, it's just something where we're struggling to really snowball. And we have Eclipse finish as well, so let's do that. Let's pull it out. Whoa, the slow from Ocean Dragon, man. He does have to be very cautious here. TP from Victor to counteract all the pressure. So, in summary, make sure you find one lane and make sure you keep sequencing. And the Kiana's had to make plays. A Rengar has to make plays. Most assassins have to make plays to get fed. The Talon doesn't have to. He can just cut this. That's a problem for me. I think his clear speed needs to be nerfed. The champion with his mobility and his skirmishing power should not benefit from being able to just relax and farm and be up 20 odd CS, you know? I definitely think that's an issue in the champion's design from the jungle. But in terms of decision making, hey, if it exists, play it. If you want to climb, play what's strong then. That's what we're here for, right? Gromp, ganks bottom lane, nicely done. And once more counter jungling, because we see, again, top lane, took the Herald, took this, take stuff from her. Do not turtle in your jungle while they do this, because now you're going to miss the opportunity to steal stuff. And as I just said in the main channel, turtling when you are behind and can take stuff, and turtling when you have a lead is just not good. So we leave babies behind. At this point, she's going to be able to take them quickly and reset them, you know, in sequence, but it's going to hamstring her a little bit in the current moment, not being able to get that experience. So we're level 9. We see Yasuo bottom lane. I'm staring at the map. We see here Blitzcrank showing bottom lane, mid lane. He happens to be Twisted Fate, so immobile. Flash used, Everfrost used, gets shinned anyway. He lives. That's all we can ask for. You would have noticed the Talon is rotating. And now, as we eke in on 14 minutes, 3-man mid with a cannon wave, the Kiana's thinking, should I use it, should I use it? But I'm assuming they might have some inclination that Talon will rotate, that Rakan will match. And now look at Talon, this is very important. In these game states, we have no mid lane pressure, okay? Too many times, people are just walking into these bottlenecks of dark vision. Why? Why would you do that? I mean, you know that they're moving up through, you know that they keep control of the river. Your mid laner, you know, right now he's pushed back, he's going back to base. Try and just umbrella your jungle, okay? Use the back alleys, use all of this. Don't face check these areas unless you're categorically knowing that they're not there, or you just want to risk it a little bit. And in this case, I think because with Talon, we can. He's scanning. See, look at this. He's avoiding this situation. So if we press the magic button, aha. But was she here? Was she there? Was she here? We don't know. But at this point, because we're closing in on 14 minutes, and we know that she's not using a mid lane, she must be using a top lane. So he rotates, commits a scanner so that he knows he's not seen, and now he lays a trap, and this is the moment we've all been waiting for. Kiana goes in, stealth mode. Talon says, die. Champion is just insane. She's not dead yet. This is anticlimactic. There we go. Uses a flash finally. Yone now dies, almost kills the Victor, but because we are Talon, we can whoops, and we should be able to whoops, and there we go. And now we see LeBlanc is in our jungle, and we have Eclipse, so we say whoops, and he drags back, gets a bleed damage, level up, triumph, yada yada. Wait, he doesn't even have triumph. I'm so used to the I'm just so used to saying it. I'm so used to saying it. It's just a level up. Just so used to saying triumph proc. And now we can do the red, which is also something that helps us in those situations, that inherent sustain. So the whole point of rough start early game jungling when you are an assassin like this, if you can farm, do so. Obviously, no one can do it as well as Talon. Look for these moments. Wait for these moments. Be patient for these moments. And read. You see, I'm always staring down. I'm always staring at the map. I'm looking at him. I'm looking for the windows. Where might the enemy be? How can we move with them? You know? How can I take something from them when they show? And I think it's patience. It's patience. And that's why people struggle with that. Now, we see here again, pushing on the bottom lane, right? We see that the Talon had his blue side, he did his wolves, but now we can tie in with our Rakan. Our ult is back up, and we can just go right in. And this is just disrespect from the bottom lane. He's done such a good job at this point. So, yes, he is enabled by Talon's ability to Talon, but he's making the right decisions. And for that, you should always be rewarded, no matter what. Let's have a look. Update, please. Obviously, we have Ultimate Hunter, so. Damage dealt, 354. Gold gain, can you see that? 377. Not a lot, but it's a free longsword. And of course, when you take things like Futures Market, that can combine to give you that Warhammer. You know, if you get a little bit extra gold from First Strike and your Futures Market, instead of just one longsword, you get a Warhammer. And that's a nice little drag fade away. I like that. I like that. I don't know, I'm such a juggler. Those things are cool to me. Fade away, taking your camps, like when I'm Zyra and I just do the Krug camp and I just walk away and my plants keep doing it and I'm over here by the time it's finished. Just nice. Iron Man moments, you know what I mean? Iron Man moments. Right. Gold lead. We are right there on the precipice of taking it. And once we do, we can run away with it. So again, don't overcommit with your hype. Twisted Fate is not chilling in the Fnatic bush. Bush or brush, whichever one you want. Talon can very easily rotate. Obviously, it's a good control ward. Moving that vision, move that vision as you push up the map, blue team. Use that vision. You just stop the flank. And too often times people don't do that, so it's just dark everywhere. But there is a dragon up. And the one saving grace in this game is that we have secured an Ocean Dragon. And that's absolutely huge. Also Ocean Dragon in that fight. Didn't even mention it. This is a good ward, especially if you want to flank. Okay, because now they're getting a little desperate. Okay, Twisted Fate activates. We see Victor's on his way. LeBlanc is in base. She does have TP available, though. And Yone is able to kill the counter, which is perfect. Talon's up on the top side. I'm just kind of keeping the camera loose. Yone is definitely going to die. Ezreal is finally going to show up. We're going to get chained, unfortunately. That's okay. It's worth pulling the trigger, but it didn't really work out as well as we wanted, especially considering the dragon is on the map. But with Kiana being dead, they simply can't do it. They can't risk the 50-50. Not really 50-50. They can't risk it being stolen. Which is, again, it's amazing how when I make a video about a specific topic on the main channel, and then I do a gameplay right afterwards, those things are painfully obvious to me, and I keep bringing them up. But it's kind of nice. It creates a synergy between the channels. Q is obviously a little bit of a dash. We are able to go in. Shielding from Rakan. Eclipse is up again. Thank you. Thank you, Brent. Good job. Got there eventually. I want to say Eclipse is down. Eclipse is going to be up. Because this is obviously stupid cooldown. Absolutely stupid. It's not a big shield, but it's still stupid. Now that she's dead, though, and with no TP, and the fact that we have 1500 in pocket now, we can be a dirty goblin horde and perhaps stay out a little bit. And I think in this situation, it's fine because your lead is substantial, you're fully resourced, and you're looking for the objective. So you don't really want to have to go back to base in this situation. It's not worth going back to base, obviously. You can still kill people very easily. Where are you flashing to, Blitz? It's a Talon. It's a Talon. Yeet back over the wall, goodbye. Any other jungler, you're dead. Most junglers, you're dead. That's not true. That's just my hatred coming out. I mean, if I'm volleyed by Alton, the tower doesn't exist anyway, so. You know what I mean now. Pull this out, we get the tower, that's excellent. Yasuo's back mid lane, Yone can split top lane, brotherly fights. Kiana decides she wants to go in. Talon's forced to flash. Let's actually watch that again, we didn't see that fully. Here we go. So Kiana doesn't even have the smite, but she wants to just try and kill him before it comes in. He doesn't have smite either, actually, so it's a complete coin flip. He uses his ult and she flashes out. Interesting. Interesting. So that was coin flip. Be very cautious about your smite usage. I had a coaching session earlier today. All of those signups on Patreon, by the way. People keep emailing me. It's all on Patreon. Where we would have dragons up, and they were pretty free, but we just didn't have smite because we used it in the fight before. And you have to really pros and cons the nature of when do I use my red smite, you know, or blue smite even. The blue smite, very rarely should we use it, unless of course you're getting that ace. If you're getting an ace, use your smite. But if the enemy jungle is going to be up, don't coin flip like that, you know? What if this was like our third dragon already and we could be soul point next, you know, if you wanted to really close the game out quickly. Kind of important, especially considering Elder, early Elder. Right, TP, activation. See, now we're sitting on 2,600. So at this point, after the dragon, we probably should have gone to base. I understand everyone's posturing in the mid lane, but most likely we wanted to go to base there because you don't want to be a goblin hoarding. I mean, unless, this is, you end up staying out, I'll cancel, I'll stay, I'll cancel, I'll stay. And while it can work out sometimes, it can also bite you. So in this case, most likely he can just kill the Yasuo. We know the Victor's topside, and he's got a huge lead, so it doesn't really matter. He's already over killing people as it is. But the longer you stay out, the more difficult it becomes to find a window to go back to base, and the less your gold lead means anything. Because currently, they're playing with a gold deficit, technically. If they were to straight up 5v5, they have a gold deficit. But because they're not playing 5v5, and because they're focusing on isolated targets where it doesn't really matter, they still have a gold lead. Hopefully that makes sense. But if you're straight up 5v5ing at this point, and like 3 of you haven't spent, and you've got like 6k gold in the bank, 7k gold combined, this isn't a gold lead. And they have spent, I mean, imagine, 37 to 30 would be the realistic state of that fight. And that's bad. That's very, very bad. In this case, as I said, because we're just looking at picks, it's fine. Right. Cerulda's complete, another Dirk completed, Ionian Boots of Lucidity. And now we can very easily do our blue side. We see Yone down on the bottom side with Yasuo. Hello, I have the key, and now you can kill him. Because you're Talon. And use her ult to disengage. Kiana, she had that good beginning, but she just stopped. I don't know, she just stopped. Talon did a good job, though, but she just kind of stopped. I don't know, it feels like we didn't really analyze her pathing too much. Everfrost? Okay. We didn't really focus on her pathing too much. But she was always in odd places, right? I mean, she was coming from the bottom side. The first gank was great, but then she was just kind of in odd places. Didn't really use her her lead appropriately, I feel. Like, it feels like the Talon impacted top and bot so much more, even in a game where he probably shouldn't have. So it's not like they were really that far behind, but he did such a good job of counter jungling, denying experience, and then making those picks and fights. He just killed the LeBlanc as well. That's it, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, 20 kills, 18 out of 20, 21 minutes. Gold lead is just a smidgen at this point. And now look, pushing the map forward. Hey, didn't go back to his jungle. He's not a turtler. We're looking to keep that pressure up. He does, obviously, in this case, be very careful. He should be okay. Yeah, oh, nicely done. Careful, though. In high elo, they can make those plays. They know the limitations. They have good mechanics. The worst thing you can do in a lower elo game, in this case, I don't mean to disrespect it, but let's just say anything below Master Tier, and it gets worse and wholly worse the lower down you go. The more you make these mistakes where you die here, the more likely you are just to throw games. And again, that's a video I just released. Like, he's dead now. That's 1,000 gold shutdown. All right. If you die with the Kiana, all of a sudden, your team is... Guys, Baron is up. Yeah, we are winning at the moment, and we have a hugely fed jungler, but if the jungler's not on the map, then where's our gold lead? And that's what you have to factor in here, right? You have to factor this in. And obviously, they could be thinking about it, but they're not in a position, fortunately. Because he killed the Kiana, but if he didn't kill the Kiana, different ball game. We're lucky in this case. We're lucky in this case. I mean, obviously, even... Let's put it this way. Even when high elos make the same mistake as low elos sometimes, like overstaying or just throwing games in general... they do it better. They even throw better because it's not really as much of a throw. Like, they know when they can limit test something without it compromising the game too much. You know, like they can have a fun moment like he just did without them losing the game. And in low elo, when you make that same mistake, you probably do it with much worse timing. And that's what causes you to lose Barons as Dragons. Flank from the Kiana, that was dumb. We know that the Talon's right there. Horrific flank. Dragon is available, and now what you're going to do is just give that away. Instead, we should just fight with such a big lead. Nice flank again. You see that? He wall hops, flanks the backline onto the Victor. Crown of the Shadow Queen is a thing that exists, which means once you do damage, hold, wait 1.5 seconds. Now use the rest of your spells. There's no point wasting your cooldowns on someone who's protected for 1.5 seconds. It's not difficult. It's like Tom Kench. Dude activates his shield, everyone keeps whacking the dude. I mean, someone activates Gargoyle Simply, they just keep whacking it. Just wait a little bit, kite back, don't waste all your cooldowns. And look, you know, it just came up again, but he dies anyway. So I understand the item is tough, but now Victor will lose a lot of AP compared to what he used to. We get the Dragon, we can get the Baron, and that should wrap it up. So, a very patient game. And I know I say the word patient a lot when you're an assassin, especially when you're losing, but honestly, that's the way you gotta play it, I think. I think we're all aware of this. You just have to have the discipline to do so. In this situation, don't coin flip it, please. If people show up and it's looking like you might have an issue, remember, it doesn't really matter in terms of the smite amount. Just turn and kill them, but in this case, Kiana's backed off. We are able to get it. She's out of position. She dies. Now we can go back to base. And what do we have? Guardian Angel and Serpent's Fang. So we didn't update for a while, but there you go. Guardian Angel and Serpent's Fang. Obviously, bit of a shield team. Boom. This champion, that champion. So the lethality plus the armor penetration plus the GA means it's a pretty decent buy. And there we go. Shielding reduced 1235 overall. There you have it. How to play an assassin, why Talon is broken. Enjoy your free RP if you play it. Hopefully you enjoyed and learned something. Please do like, share, and comment. If you did, I will be back Friday, definitely. And of course, best junglers at the end of the week because it's a new patch. So thank you all for the support. As always, I will see you all in the next tutorial.